Hello, lovely souls listening to us today. We are the Divine Feminine Ascension Council, coming to you with another recording of we find a recent topic that has been showing up for all of us. I'm here today with the amazing Wendy Liu and the amazing Eartha, and I'm Bianca, for those who don't know us yet, right? And today we want to talk about something, as I said, that we come across recently a lot more, at least I did. And that's when I talk to people that they feel that they are innately broken. It's like they feel that there's something is just wrong with them at their core. They're broken and they need someone to fix them, right? So it's the victim program that we see here perpetuating. However, I feel that it even goes a little deeper into the story of the human evolution, right? When we talk about Adam and Eve biting the apple, and that there's just being perpetuated, that there's something just wrong, right? Or broken in the human race, that we're not just all gods and goddesses. You know, it's like we did something forbidden this one time, and now we just keep doing it, right? We just keep doing the forbidden things that society or some government is telling us that is forbidden, or we self tell us it is forbidden. Someone tells us it's forbidden, it's a wrong experience to have this. So we feel that we're broken or lost, or we're going the wrong way. And I'm experiencing this with the collective, right? And I'm also experiencing it in the lightworker community as well. Seeing people that are just, you know, perpetuating this sense of innate brokenness within them, more so the collective, right? We know that the light workers are obviously going first.
Yeah. They're just coming up to that, healing that big victim, you know, cloud of victim energy. So.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys had experiences with people as well who just, they're somehow it's like in a fog, right? It's like they see themselves as very small and very little, and they just keep telling themselves, it's this whole program of, I'm always bad, I've always attracted those bad experiences. It's the victim program, right? All over again. And I feel for some people, it's such a deep core, you know, and it probably goes over this lifetime. So I feel that a lot of people actually come in with that program as well from past lifetimes, that it's just at the core of humanity. It somehow feels that there's something wrong. We're doing something wrong. We're not doing enough.
Well, that we're tainted somehow. No matter what we do, we'll never redeem ourselves for something we don't even know. Like, I feel like a lot of it is, like, I was thinking about this. If you think about it, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, most people were indoctrinated into some sort of religion. And, you know, it's just been in the last 100 years that people have started to break free. And yeah, there were always some, you know, we got the tribes and everything in Africa and those kind of things that never succumbed to society. They're ascending. I'm not worried about those people at all. They're ascending. They got their own thing going on. But, you know, all of us probably, likely, if not in this life, you know, and I always say I'm a recovering Catholic, you know, and a lot of people are breaking free. But even before this life, I am sure that I had lives where I was a devout believer in something, right? And we carry that original sin, that idea of we come in as precious little newborn babies with sin. And it's like this blanket that covers all of us. Like, oh, well, we're sinful. All we can do is try to atone every minute of our life, you know, which is how we get caught up in the, you know, people say, it's interesting to me that there's such a focus on, well, we have to shift from service to self to service to others, when I feel like more so we have to shift into more taking care of ourselves. I think most of us are more service to others to our detriment.
What we have to do is realize that service to ourselves is service to others.
Yeah,
that's the key. That's the point of it.
Yeah.
Is
service to others doesn't mean ignoring
that service to others doesn't mean giving our power away. Service to others doesn't mean letting every minute of our day be dictated by, am I doing enough for other people, for the people who are not in this meat suit? This meat suit is also a part of the service that needs to be taken care of.
Yep.
And we're the only ones that know exactly what we need to do to take care of ourselves. And so the trick of it is, and that's where the light worker thing comes in too, I think, a lot, because like that's, great, humanity's at this level, and there's various levels, but like the unawakened collective is mostly still in this remnants of either there's nothing that I can do and I am just a victim of circumstance, or I'm a victim of original sin and I must always pray to God for my salvation. Okay, those are the two human collective things right now. Once you wake and you say, okay, now I know I'm part of a light and I'm part of this, greater source energy, and I understand that I'm a part of this, and that we are all God, and that my job on earth, my purpose is to serve that source, then you start looking for ways to serve, right? And then that becomes your ego-driven construct again. It's like you move from one ego-driven construct, which is that somebody's going to save me and I'm a victim, to I need to save all of the victims. But then you're forgetting that that no one's a victim. Right? And that you don't need to save anyone, and that and the only person that you need to save is yourself. And by doing so, you save everyone. And it's so that, because it's just so trippy. It's just like such a concept that's just not.
I feel like we have to go to the other extreme for a while to really find the balance, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Because when I was even healing, kind of off topic, but when I was healing my divine feminine, I actually went a little too far over into, because I was so masculine my whole life,
right,
being military and being raised in a military family. And when I started to heal my divine feminine and try to cultivate it, I went a little too far over that way into the, succumbing and trying to be dainty and accommodating, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
and it wasn't,
we have to dip our toes.
And it wasn't too far. It was just experiencing the other side of the spectrum, right? Because you have to experience,
which I'd never done,
the dark
in this life,
and you have to experience the light in order to find the balance. Because if you don't know what those two extremes are for you, then you don't know where your balance is, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that's why all of us go through that phase of, no, I'm going to be all love and light.
Yeah.
Nothing else. I'm never going to raise my voice again, or or use crass language.
I'm
or
only going to think happy thoughts, and I'm never going to judge anyone.
I'm only going to be positive all the time. That's called spiritual bypassing, everybody, and that's not healthy. But it's okay to go through periods of thinking you need that. Because like you just said, Eartha, that we have to experience that to become aware of what we're doing. But yeah, the victimhood is so strong. And I see it onesie twosies a lot with, individual people. The collective right now, I apologize, I'm in a public place. The collective right now is really, have really been cracked open in that realm, and are really being forced to look at their victimhood. I mean, look at what's going on in the world. Delta variant is the new fear, right? And the no matter who's pulling the strings, the point is to keep us in fear. And the collective, in a lot of ways, is perpetuating that, because fear is where they've always lived, and fear is where they feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if they try to imagine a world with no fear, oh my goodness, they can't. It's like in the Matrix when he says they tried to feed them a program of just joy and bliss, and they all died because they couldn't handle it. The human brain just couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle utopia. So as much as everybody says they want utopia, but again, going back to the religious thing, we all think that's after we die, right? Oh, well, it'll be perfect. We get to go to heaven. We get to go to the Garden of Eden when
we're good.
If we're good, right? Goodness gracious. As far as I'm concerned, I know the people who are the biggest narcissists, the biggest, people look at people like Hitler. He has got to be the bravest soul that was ever created to sign up for that life. To go through that and to bring that to the world and to be forever remembered as this evil thing, right? They're the bravest souls, the ones who are coming in, bringing the darkness so that we can see it.
Yeah,
And
Lucifer.
we're not
Thank you,
lost
Lucifer.
either,
Huh,
right?
Bianca?
Back to feeling so lost. That's what, we all see in the collective, as you said, Wendy, as well. The collective's perpetuating fear because they feel like they're lost and they feel they're
Yes.
needing someone to guide them because they feel like they don't have the innate capability to guide themselves because of some unreasonable sin or brokenness or whatnot
Yes.
that they have experienced in the past, either being told that they're broken or just this innate feeling that kind of spread, and I'm calling it a virus now on purpose, right? They kind of spread like a virus.
That would be a
throughout,
pandemic.
right?
That's the real pandemic. Yeah.
Well, and then look at the words that we use too, though. Like even in the light worker collective, like when you're taught as a light worker to face your shadows and to do this energy work where you take a look at the extreme of one end of yourself and the extreme of other end of yourself, and you try to find your balance, and you're looking for your unity within yourself, and you're looking for your unity within the balance of the world. What do we call that? We call it healing. So if there's something that needs healed, then there's something that's broken.
Wrong, right? There was
that's
something wrong.
Logical.
That's true.
There was something wrong in the first place if you're trying to heal yourself from whatever brokenness, right? So maybe we shouldn't be using healing as a word. Maybe we should be using finding unity. I'm finding my unity right now, or I'm
finding
rebalancing
balance.
or recalibrating myself or something.
Yeah.
Because we need to watch those words too.
And there's actually nothing to be healed, right? If all is in perfect order, balance, and as it is all the time, then there's also nothing to be healed, right? People are saying, I am healing, but they're not realizing that then when is the end point? When are they actually healed if they're always saying, well, we are healing, right? I'm healing, I'm healing, I'm healing. But when am I healed?
Exactly.
Right?
That's kind of like that wanting versus having that, John actually does in his practices. Can you let go of the wanting so that you can have? Because the wanting, it's like I talk about hope. Hope, I don't believe in hope. Now I'm guilty of still saying things like, well, I hope this, I hope that, because it's so programmed in the language. But I don't believe in the concept anymore because it keeps everything you want at bay. As long as you're hoping for something, you will never get it.
You'll never have it. Right. Yeah.
And if you're feeling lost, right? If you're feeling lost and if you're feeling broken, then
this brokenness is
and then saying, well, I'm trying to unstuck myself, I'm healing, I am all those things, then you're not actually there at a state where you're saying that I am already whole, that I am already healed. And what I'm experiencing is just the experience that I have as a fractal of source, and I can change this experience at any time.
Yep, because we're creating it in every minute.
And I'm navigating, right? Instead of I'm being lost, I'm navigating this experience called life that is not always easy, right?
Yeah. And
when you're
lost, I accept
you're
that.
actually learning.
Yes, yeah.
And there's no one broken, right? And even if we look at our healthcare system, there are people who are trying to fix people, right? So many people, and they perpetuating this idea of other people are broken because they are trying to fix them.
Exactly.
Right.
And really, in this world, the systems are the only things that are broken. Belief systems and the old constructs they were broken to begin with. They were designed to be broken and to keep us in that energy. But this brokenness, I mean, really, what does it boil down to? This brokenness, it's a victim energy, but it's really it's being cracked open, right? And being shown things that you're not, you think you're not ready to see, right? But that I think that it takes it, like there's this certain level of fear that we're comfortable with. And then when you get cracked open to really become better, or remember, we have so many phrases, right? To step into your highest self, to remember who you really are. It's seeing that, getting that doorway opened and being terrified to walk through it. And so, and they think, even though people think, like, I know everybody can relate to this. Sorry, it's getting loud here, but everybody can relate to this, is we think so many people are, we call it members of the one-up club. Everybody knows somebody like that, who's no matter what you may have a story to tell, oh, well, this terrible thing happened to me. They have one better. Oh, their life is worse. They can one-up you every single time. And you get to the point where you just stop telling them anything, because even if it's good stuff, they'll flip it and, well, this bad thing happened to me, so I win. And I've said that to somebody before too. I'm just like, you win. I don't like, what do you want me to say? Like, you want to stay in your brokenness. And, I was told at the very beginning of this journey, which for me was about my physical health. That's how I was introduced into awakening, that this naturopath who helped me, she said, you cannot help someone heal who doesn't want to. They love their illnesses. They love their conditions. They love their diseases, because that's where they are comfortable. Anything else, to be truly who they truly are with no fear and no boundaries, that's way more terrifying. So they like to believe they're broken.
Responsibility for where they're at right now, because they would understand that they created it. I feel like that's even more
huge.
Permanent in people that I engage with. It's just this, if I'm a victim, someone else is doing it to me, then I haven't done this to myself, right? I'm not responsible for the mess that I'm in.
Right.
Yeah. You can't, I heard something this morning that said, you can't just be in love with who you are to become. You also have to be in love with who you are now. Ooh. Because we have to love all of the seasons of our life. Isn't that nice? Oh my
goodness. And I think we were talking about this before we hit record too, is this, the three of us too, everybody, we're struggling a bit, because we're really being called to be in the moment. And that is so hard. When I saw something actually yesterday, somebody had posted somewhere on social media about how, we live so much in the past and the future, we forget about that all we have is the moment. And, they say anxiety is fear of the future, depression is dwelling in the past. We find that 0 point, that void, that every single moment. I have a friend who always says, all we have is right now, and right now, and right now, and right now. And what are you doing with it? If you're bitching and complaining about how everybody else is doing this to you, then you're never going to be in that moment. You're putting it out on everybody else, and you're giving all of your energy away when you do that. Everybody else is in control of you. You are powerless.
Or you're lamenting about things that you could have done yesterday, or you're thinking about what you have to do tomorrow.
Or dreading, I know people who are like, well, God willing, I'll still be alive tomorrow. It's like, why would you put that energy out there? I remember watching, I don't know if you guys know Sylvia Brown. She was a psychic. She passed away a few years ago.
Her. Yeah.
She was one of the real deals. I absolutely really believe in her. And she was doing a talk show. Actually, she was on Larry King. I remember this long before they both passed, obviously. But and she was taking callers. And this lady called in and said, I have terminal cancer. I'm dying of cancer. I want some advice on how to tell my child. She had like a 7-year-old little boy, and she wanted Sylvia. And Sylvia right away goes, I just talked to your guides and you're not dying. You're going to beat this. And the woman would not hear it.
Oh, shit.
She would not accept it. She could not take it in. And Sylvia's like, I just saw your future. You're not going anywhere. You're gonna heal. Well, no. I already know I'm dying. I just need to know how to talk to my 7-year-old about this. She could not hear it. And it was so sad to me that and of course, Sylvia, eventually you give up. If they can't hear you, stop wasting your energy,
Yeah.
So I think she finally said something like, tell him you're dying. Next. That's harsh, right? But it's like, we're all dying, lady. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow when you got a 6-month, when the doctor said you had 6 months to live, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow. So what's your point? How would you tell your son, I might get hit by a bus tomorrow? How would you tell him every day? Who knows? It was interesting. And it shows how she was just committed to being broken.
Yeah.
She was committed to her brokenness. And a lot of people are.
She actually wanted out.
Exactly. That's another thing too, is if you're ready to go, if you encounter somebody who's ready to go, then there's no saving them either,
The point is, if you're just deciding that, you know, this is not great and let me escape and let me leave, then you're starting the next life with the exact same thing again, right?
True.
Because you haven't healed all of your stuff.
Yeah, that's
in this life, but you're gonna repeat the same thing until you learn in the next life, because that's what you want.
And I mean, there are those who have, you know, who've been here and are checking out and are just going to come back fully in the 5D. And, you know, those are the, like the light workers that, you know, the beautiful light workers that knew they weren't broken and knew who, you know, were on this path and chose to go. And it wasn't because they didn't think they could handle it, but they just weren't meant to be here during it. And then there are those who cannot handle it and they need to, you know, everybody says, I get so frustrated with people who are like, oh, no, we're all going together. Yes, we're all going together, but it's going to take, I mean, it's not like we go to 5D and we're one with source. We have hundreds of thousands of years yet of getting to that point. And so I do believe there are, and I do believe there are people who need to do another cycle in 3D, not because they're worse or I'm better or anything like that. They just aren't ready to go yet. They've not done the soul work yet. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Like, we need to stop judging. And that's also why I want people to stop thinking that they are lost or they're doing something wrong or they're innately broken, because there is no such thing as brokenness. We're whole in every moment. Even if we're crying, depressed on the floor, we're still whole, right? There's nothing to fix. We're not broken. We're just in this experience that we call life, that is an illusion by itself, right? But you know, be in the illusion, but don't go into the thinking that you're broken, because that's a program that we're perpetuating, right?
The illusion is not, we're not the pawns to these powerful programmers. We are the programmers. And we forget that, you know, we forget that we are the dude in the office with all the TVs on the Matrix, and, you know, we can choose to create an evil AI controlled reality, or we can create, which I say that in jest. I know that's kind of a dark joke, but I actually, that was confirmed for me yesterday. I listened to this, people on YouTube, and a lot of people are saying this, so that timeline is gone. We narrowly missed it. I will say we narrowly missed it. I think Bianca will agree with me. Yeah, but it's gone. So now we're deciding, you know, it's not going to be terrible, but you know, now we're deciding which one to take of the ones that are left, and it's like not as bad as people like. You know, we want that, people who want that gloom and doom. You know, we fell in love for a long time with the utopian dystopian stories and the movies, and I admit I love them too. The hero and the heroine, and you know, everybody wants to be that person. Guess what? You are. Everybody, every single one of us is that person to save civilization.
Yeah,
it's not just.
And how do we do that? And how do we do that? We fix ourselves, or we don't fix ourselves, but we learn that we are not broken. And we balance ourselves and we recalibrate.
We find our unity within.
Yeah. Yes.
I like that. Yeah. We find the unity within.
Yeah.
And that micro macro, as within, so without. You know, once you find you know, the people who are so, and we could do a whole talk on this. I know Eartha and I, at least. Well, no, all three of us could, on the whole twin flame thing. You know, people are so convinced it's about the fairy tale romance. It's about the fairy tale romance inside of you. Until you can really love every single aspect of yourself, you're not going to attract the perfect partner.
Because people are still looking for the twin flame, because they feel that the twin flame partner is going to fix them and make it easier for them.
Yeah.
And they're half of a whole. Because that's the other perpetuated stereotype of that, is that they're half of a whole. They think they're half,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm half, and I need my other half.
Even if it is a soul, and I do believe that you know, we have all come from this giant soul source that's split.
Right, yeah.
Right, we're all little,
part
like,
of everybody.
Absolutely, we're all little extensions, you know, we're all little tentacles or whatever we want to say of source. And, you know, yes, we split, and yes, it may be, you know, that you split from, that it was the two, you know, a soul, and you split into two, and that's your twin flame. But it doesn't mean that you are half a soul. or we would all
Right.
be 1/1000000000th trillionth of a soul. And I know that's not true. So yeah, you're not half a soul, guys, and you're not broken in
And we
any
need to
way,
stop
shape, or
looking
form.
for something on the outside completely.
Absolutely. Yeah. We all need that, you know, and I think a lot of people are going to be seeking out more, you know, it's hard for people in the collective right now. They're still in that 3D, you know, matrix of school, 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 work, 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 die, is that they, and the whole self-care thing, right? They're coming into, okay, what is self-care? Self-care is not an hour at the nail salon once a month. That's not going to cut it, you guys. Self-care is really, truly digging in and taking days and sometimes weeks of disconnecting and getting away as much as you can. But you know, they're so embedded, some people, I shouldn't say they, I know it's not, we're not separate, right? But people still plugged in, you know, desperately, sorry, to the collective, you know, who don't want to let go, who want their brokenness, who love their brokenness. You know, they'll tell you, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. You're creating your own life. So what you make time for, you know, people always tell me, oh, well, I don't have time to homeschool. Like the homeschooling is a good example. It's not for everybody, but if you are constantly thinking about it and wishing you could and telling yourself you can't, then you're not making it a priority. You know, if you really were meant to homeschool, then you would make it number one, right? Not everybody is. I always tell people, you know, I don't judge, not everybody is, but I could never have homeschooled my older two, you guys. We would have driven each other nuts. So, you know, that's just, you're going to make it a priority if it's something that you're meant to do. It'll just feel so important. You won't be able to stop doing it. But yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
I feel this was a lot of really valuable information. And I feel
That's our take. That's our take on the brokenness.
Yeah.
You're not broken, you're beautiful.
A good point to end it. As you said, Wendy, we're all beautiful. We're not half. And once we let go of this insisting on being broken, being lost, being less than, and we start accepting what is, and we're starting to take responsibility of our own creator beingness that is creating this life, this is where we really start into creating the 5D world that we want to see. Like if every one of us lets go of that, steps into responsibility and starts fully creating in every moment out of every thought, emotion, word, and action, then we're going to get there. And we're going to get there a lot faster than we thought we would just a while ago.
I agree. I think it's moving faster. Every time we go through another portal and, you know, we're on fast forward. And you guys, we're not, you know, Bianca and I have talked about it in another video about how some of us are already, you know, taking peeks over across the bridge, right? We're in 5D, we're setting up for the party. We're not setting that up just for us. And we're not going to start the party until you get there. So everybody who's coming, right, this cycle or this era or whatever you want to call it, this cycle of 5D, everybody who's coming, you know, we're going to wait for every last one. But some of us are already over there a lot of the time, getting it ready. You know, we have to hold that energy. We have to start preparing it.
Yeah.
And creating that reality. So beautiful.
Yeah. We love you all. This was a beautiful chat, and I love you ladies. And we hope to catch you on our next talk. You can find some more information on each one of us just below the video.
Mm-hmm.
And you're whole, you're loved, you're beautiful, you're amazing.
You're perfect. Thank you.
You're perfect wherever you are in your life. It's perfect. All good. Thanks, everyone. Bye.